Hello students, today we start with the next chapter, the new lesson, that is chapter 3, working of a computer. These are the topics what we will cover in this topic, that is data, program, IPO cycle, input devices, processing device, output devices, storage devices, hardware and software. So we'll see now all these topics one by one in detail. First one, what is data? What is data? The information that you feed into a computer is called data. The data can be words, numbers, symbols, pictures, facts, etc. So whatever the data you feed into the computer to process, that is called the data. Next, what is program? The program is what the computer processes. That is, the computer, that is the CPU, processes all the data provided by you through some of the other programs. It is the instruction that a computer uses to process the data are called programs. Next, input, process, output cycle. That is IPO cycle. I stands for input, P stands for process, O stands for output. That is, the computer works on this cycle. That is IPO cycle. Input, process, output cycle. Now we'll see what exactly is this input, output, process with some of the real life examples. See, example, that is making ice cubes. Input, process and output. So here what is the input? A glass of a water. So, and everyone has seen this is what? Refrigerator. So you put the water in the refrigerator in the deep fridge, you have the ice cube trays, then the refrigerator processes it. That is, after some time you get the output, that is the results, that is ice cubes. So input, the data what you are giving to the machine. The machine here it is refrigerator. So when you put the water into the refrigerator, after some time it processes and gives you the ice cubes. So that is the input will be water, the process is refrigerator and output is ice cubes. Then we have the next one more example here, making sugarcane juice. So here input will be the sugar or sugarcane, then process is sugarcane squeezing machine, then here the output will be sugarcane juice. Same way, similarly, the computer works on the principle of input, process, output. That is IPO cycle. It accepts the data, processes it and gives you the desired output. That is the result. So what exactly is input? The data and instructions that you enter into the computer for processing is called input. Then processing. It is the work done on the data and instructions. The central processing unit CPU does the processing. Output is the final result that the computer gives after processing the data. That is IPO cycle. IPO, I stands for input, P stands for process, O stands for output. That is, input is given through keyboard, that is the input devices. The process here, this is CPU, central processing unit. This processes the data and output, this is the monitor. Whatever the result is there in the computer, it is displayed on the monitor. So we'll see next, input devices. So whatever the data you give to the computer is given through the input devices. So the computer parts that are used to input data and instructions into a computer are called input devices. So here some of the most common input devices that are as follows. We'll see now what are the input devices, some of the examples. So here is a keyboard. So I'll show you, see here. This is the keyboard. So here we have the keyboard. These all the small buttons are called as keys, which is containing the numbers, alphabets, symbols and function keys. Many more things are there. So for the computer, for typing, we use keyboard. So whatever we type, we give the instructions through the keyboard. Then next we have is mouse. So this is mouse. So mouse is also input device. So whatever we give the instructions, and it works as a pointing device for the computer. See here, now when I move the mouse, here one pointer is moving. That is called the mouse pointer. So when it is used to click, here we have three buttons. That is left click, right click and the central scroll wheel. Next we have is touchpad. Here I'll show you the touchpad example. Here I'm having a laptop. In laptop you have the screen. So in laptop we use the touch screen to move the cursor of the mouse. Next we have is touch screen. So now you are saying I am explaining you, I am changing the slide by touching the screen. So nowadays everyone uses your mobile or tab, your parents are having. So that you use the Android mobiles all are having. You use it by touching the screen. So that is the touch screen, you can give the inputs. The next we have is scanner. Scanner is not the data if you are having any hard copies. You can scan it and upload it in the computers. The next we have is light pen. So now you are seeing, have you observed students? And touching it, we are having one magnetic pen. This is called the light pen, which is used for the computers to write on the screen and to operate on the touch screen devices on the screen. So I am operating with this magnetic pen called light pen. Next we have is joystick. Joystick, normally you play the PlayStation games and all. So this is a remote control for games, to play the games. Microphone. Microphone is a device which is used to record the voice. Many of your students have you observed in the functions and all, in the principal man will speak in the mic. So that is the microphone. Next you have webcam. Now you all are seeing me, right students? So I am recording this video by explaining you that is recorded using this webcam, that is web camera. Then this is digital camera. I hope everyone have seen this digital camera. So most you can use to take the photos and videos, and you can upload it in the computers and use it. The next we have is processing device. The central processing unit is an important part of the computer that does the processing. Whatever the process is there done in the computer, it is done by the processor. This is the processor which is present inside the CPU box, which process all the data provided through the input devices. So it is also called the brain of a computer. So students, everyone you are having the brain, right? Similar way, the computer is also having a brain, that is the processor, central processing unit. So central processing unit is called the brain of the computer. Next we have is output devices. The devices which display the information and results are called output devices. So some of the output devices are as follows. First one is monitor. I hope everyone has seen the monitor. Whatever the results in the computer is displayed everything on the monitor, and what the results you see on the monitor is called soft copy. And next is printer. Whatever the results you take out the prints in the hard copy on the paper, that is called the hard copy, and that is given by the printer. Next we have the speakers. So everyone has the habit of listening the songs and all. So that all you get the output from the computer system, that is given through the speakers. Next, headphones. Headphones is what? Even the same as speakers. You get all the songs, music and everything through the headphones. The difference is when you listen through the speakers, it is listened to the wide, openly. And when you use the headphones, only the person who is wearing the headphones can listen to the sounds. Next we have is storage devices. So whatever you put in the system, in the computer, so that has to be stored somewhere, right? So that is stored in the storage devices. The devices which are used to store data are called storage devices. Storage devices are used to store the information for the later use. So whenever you store in the computer, at any time afterwards later you can use the data. Some of the storage devices are as follows. So first one is hard disk. Hard disk is present inside, it is shifted in the inside the CPU box, which stores all the data of the computer. Next we have a CD and DVD. Many of you have seen the CDs and DVDs, right? So in that you can store your data, your photos or videos or games, whatever it might be. The data you can store it and preserve it for the later use. The next you have is memory card. Memory card, most of you have seen in your mobiles, but nowadays your mobiles are coming inbuilt memories. Next you have is pen drive. Pen drive is very small device where you can store the data and carry anywhere. If you want from one system to another, if you want to copy the data, you can copy it in the pen drive and operate it in another system. Next you have is hardware and software. So we'll see now what is hardware. Hardware means those all the parts of the computer that you can touch and feel. So which are the parts of the computer are there which you can touch and feel are called hardware. So like example, it comes with the components of the computer, that is keyboard, mouse, monitor, CPU, printer. So these are all the parts which you can touch. So those are called the hardware. Next you have is software. Software is any set of instruction or programs that tell the computer what to do. So whenever you give any input or data to the computer, you tell it to the computer to do the operate. So that is done by the software. So these softwares are Microsoft Paint, Windows 7, games, etc. So all the softwares are present inside the computer. Okay. Thank you.